Tide Pods, for example.
Oh, yeah.
I'm assuming that was a huge thing for you.
It actually wasn't that common. So,
really?
Yeah, it was really more in the meme territory.
So it was just the media blowing it out of proportion.
Yeah, it wasn't really that many people doing it. There were like a couple cases where like kids were like screwing around and like putting like multiple in their mouth, and then like one would pop or like one would rupture, and then like they'd panic and then they like breathe it in.
That was like the worst of it.
That was a thing, yeah.
Okay,
so,
interesting.
Yeah.
But the Tide Pod things wasn't like real. It wasn't a real epidemic.
There was a thing that was from a couple years ago, NyQuil chicken.
Wait, what?
This was in the news in 22, but the meme actually predated it by like, I think maybe almost 10 years. There was a picture of somebody cooking a chicken breast in NyQuil. The FDA put an announcement out about social media memes and, you know, drug misinformation. They cited the actual meme as the example, and I don't actually think anybody cooked chicken in NyQuil. And if they did, how much NyQuil is actually in the chicken after you cook it? The chicken is blue after you do it.
Right.
I actually did cook NyQuil chicken for a video that I made. Yeah. It was interesting because like the news kind of blew it up because the FDA had written about it, but the FDA was like citing a meme.
Yeah.
And I was like, how many people are actually doing NyQuil chicken? Because it was clearly a joke.
I feel like that's so common when it comes to like trends on social media, that the media will get wind of like something that one school did somewhere, or like a couple kids did in one random state, and they're like, oh my god, kids everywhere are
Right.
XYZ, and it's like, no.
A guy on Instagram who DM'd me, he kind of came out of the blue, very charming, whatever. We like kind of went back and forth. I was busy. It wasn't consistent. He like asked if he could actually take me out on a date, like when I'm back in LA and like all this stuff. And I was just like, no, thank you. Like, I'm, you know, not sure I'm interested. I'm not sure if we'd be the most compatible. Just cause like I stalked his page. I looked at the, you know, his vibe. There were a couple of videos that were a little like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, and it just, that switch. Why not? Like, you don't even know me. That's really weird to just like say out of the gate. Like, you didn't even give me a chance. And I was like,
whoa, I don't owe you a chance. I don't owe you anything.
Like, literally don't have to.
literally.
You're not entitled to any of my time or my energy.
Yeah, no.
I'm not like,
No.
it's not like you pay a dime and you get to ride the ride.
And then it dragged into
I'm a
this whole
human being.
thing where he's like, I saw you crying on TikTok about like your ex, you know, last year and being upset about that. And then like this nice guy like wants to take you out on a date and you shut him down. Like clearly you're the, it like turned and he like kept going. I was
So
like,
you're not a nice
Oh,
guy.
no.
That's not
so
what you
I
are.
was right.
If you have to convince other people that you're a nice guy,
Yes.
you're not a nice guy.
You know what's my favorite thing? Is how parents, like, crashed all the way out during COVID because then they had to deal with their kids
Yeah, and they're
all
like,
day.
this is awful.
instead of shipping them off to these teachers or whatever. Like, oh, now you have to make sure that they get to class and do their studies and get on the Zoom. Oh my goodness, what a tough time.
I got these trolls in my comments all the time of the, well, it's home or it's virtual learning and I'm helping my kid. Where's my teacher paycheck? No, honey. First of all, you're not making the lessons,
Babe.
the assignments, and all the things. You're parenting.
Yeah,
I know it's
yeah.
a foreign concept to you. You haven't had to do it in a while, but this is parenting.
This is what we
You're
call
helping
parenting.
your kid with their homework.
Good
You're
for you.
reading for them. You're checking in on what they're doing. You're assisting them. This is parenting.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that you've never had to experience that before.
That's wild.
Yeah, I
that's
would get that
wild.
all the time.
In Egypt, we don't say don't touch that. We say
In Spanish, we don't say, oh yeah, I understand. We say, ah.
Down in the South, no one says, you're an idiot. Instead, we say, oh, bless your heart. I am preparing to get a lot of hate for this, and I'm very much willing to accept that I might just have a bad take that I need to reevaluate, and that's fine. I will accept that if that's a possibility. But I want to know how much, like what percentage is appropriate to tip DoorDash drivers in DoorDash delivery. I want to be clear. I've never not tipped my DoorDash driver. Ever. Never. I've never not done that. But I don't love how when I go to order DoorDash and it like just does the estimated, like, oh, if you tip this, like, you can just hit accept and you have to manually change it. Let's say I ordered $10 to $15 worth of food, which is, like, usually with taxes and stuff what my order comes out to be for, like, me, one person. And DoorDash is always like, oh, and you want to leave a $5 tip, right? I feel like that's a lot. That's 30%. That's a 30% tip. That's a lot, right? And I understand that, like, servers, waitresses, people like that, they live off of tips because they don't even make minimum wage, which is ridiculous in its own issue. But I Googled, and DoorDash pays its drivers, from what I saw on Google, like $17 to $24 an hour, which is great. I love that for them. And I'm not saying that means I don't think that they should get tips. I will always tip my DoorDash driver, but I just feel like 33% is a lot. Yeah, like, I'm not crazy. I'm not being a jerk or a Karen right now, like, in this economy. So I just want to know, am I being ridiculous, or, like, what is a fair percentage that you think is acceptable when ordering, like, DoorDash, Grubhub, whatever it is? I want to know. I'm very curious.
Because there are holes, and that's what people don't really understand. If I take two media sources that are politically polar opposite, and I look at the same story from those two, there will be a set of facts that appear with both. Those are probably facts. You can probably pull those out as real. But there will be things that appear in one side that don't appear here, or appear here that don't appear here. And those could be facts. They also could be speculation from either of those sides. So those things I would take more with a grain of salt as opposed to the facts that appeared in both. If there's a topic that you really feel like you feel like you've got a strong opinion about it, this is horrible or this is wonderful, you're starting to have a very strong opinion, I would suggest taking the 20 minutes to really look into that topic, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And just look into it. If you're going to look at an article about that topic from CNN, then you actively need to go to Fox News or any one of those sites, and you need to, because they will have the exact same topic, but it will have a different perspective on that topic, right? And same thing, if you're watching something on, OAN, or you're watching something on News Nation, you need to actively go and look at the other side of it. Find the opposite of
Figure out what you're missing. Am I the bad apple for breaking my daughter's heart? I, 29 female, have a 4-year-old who's smart, sassy, and very expressive. Lately, she's been going through a phase where she says things like, I'm going to leave, or I'm running away whenever she's upset. I know she doesn't fully understand the weight of those words, but it's so hurtful to hear. Well, the other day, she was upset about something small and again said, I'm going to leave, so you feel sad. I calmly said back, okay then, maybe I'll leave too. The second those words left my mouth, her face just dropped. She ran under the table and started crying, saying that I broke her heart. I immediately went to her and followed her and gently said, do you know why I said that? And she said, because I said it first. I asked her how it felt when I said that, and she said, it broke my heart. I told her that I'm not leaving her, ever, and that I only said it because I wanted her to understand how those words feel.